What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and these are the sneaker releases that you need to know about in the second half of August 2023. Jumping right into it, on August 16th, we've got two different colorways of the upcoming Granite New Balance 1906R. I'll be honest with you, I'm not too familiar with the brand Granite. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. It could be Johnny or something like that, I have no idea. But it seems like they just started up working with New Balance back in 2022 and this is their first official collaboration with the brand. For this collection, these two brands are dropping two different colorways of the 1906R, one entirely yellow colorway and one white colorway with yellow accents. Now I love the 1906R, I think it's an incredible silhouette and it's a shoe that I will definitely be on the lookout for. Probably not gonna pay resale for it, but I do think it's a clean look and one that if I can get it on New Balance's website, which I'm sure I can't, I'll be happy to have. And by this point you probably already could have guessed it, but knowing New Balance and knowing their collaborations and how well those collaborations do, and the fact that it's on a 1906R leads me to believe that this shoe in both colorways will sell out very quickly. So for that reason, I'm giving both of these colorways a sell. Also releasing on the 16th and also a New Balance sneaker, we've got the brand new silhouette, the New Balance Warped Runner. This is actually a shoe that I've been looking forward to for a very long time and I was trying to get a pair of these shoes early to give you guys an earlier review, but for whatever reason it's very difficult to get this shoe early, so I'll just have to wait until I can actually get a pair in hand after they release. That being said, the Warped Runner is a brand new silhouette from New Balance, which obviously draws some inspiration from some of their heritage sneakers, but it's a very, very clean look and I love the super organic lines. Even the materials that they use on the upper of the shoe, like the suede overlays, look very, very clean. I love the bold New Balance branding on the side and I especially love that super wavy midsole. I think it's really clean. And because the Warped Runner is a highly anticipated brand new silhouette from New Balance, I'm definitely giving this shoe a sell because I really think this shoe will sell out very quickly. Moving on to the 17th, we've got the return of two classic Yeezy models, or I guess one classic Yeezy model and one not so classic, but just a Yeezy model, I guess. The classic pair returning is the Adidas Yeezy 700 V1 Wave Runner. This shoe is my favorite Adidas Yeezy of all time. I love this sneaker. I pre-ordered it when it first came out back in 2017. It's an awesome shoe. It's incredibly comfortable and it looks crazy. And I actually still have my pair from 2017 and I've worn it a bunch, so I wouldn't mind getting a new pair just to have a pair to keep on ice. Now, unfortunately, because this shoe is so popular and most likely because a lot of people are gonna be going for this shoe, I would expect, even though we've had a lot of restocks of this sneaker, it'd still be pretty difficult to get. So for that reason, I'm giving the final restock of the Adidas Yeezy 700 Wave Runner a sell. And then the other shoe returning on the 17th is the Adidas Yeezy 950 boot in Pirate Black. So I actually owned all four of the colorways of the original Yeezy 950 boots when they first released before my YouTube channel started. I wish I had my YouTube channel at that point because those videos probably would have done pretty well. And it seems like for whatever reason, Adidas decided to bring this boot back, even though at the time, because of its insanely high retail price and the fact that Yeezy hype wasn't at its peak, the boot just didn't do that well. In fact, I never ended up wearing any pairs because the sizing was all weird and I sold all my pairs for a loss. So generally just a bad decision overall, but I guess it is kind of exciting that they're bringing back the 950 boot. These duck boots are definitely clean. They're very simple, very easy to wear. However, the retail price is $600, which means that I don't know if the hype is gonna be there for this silhouette. I think if it was priced at like $300, it might sell really well, but at $600, I feel like this is a tough sell, especially because it's not like an immediately obvious Yeezy model and it's not something that a lot of people think of when they think of Yeezy sneakers. So for that reason, I am gonna give this shoe a sit. I do think it will sell out eventually, but I think it's gonna be a slower mover. But at the same time, it's also possible that I could be completely wrong because there might be a lot of people out there who have been wanting to grab this boot for a while and just haven't pulled the trigger because it hasn't restocked. So I don't really know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna give it a sit, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Then moving on to August 18th, we've got the Adidas Stan Smith Homer Simpson. This is the end-all be-all dank meme shoe. It's not really a dank meme, it's just more of a regular meme, but either way, I've never seen a meme like this on a sneaker and I think it's awesome. As you can tell, this pair of Stan Smiths has the Homer Simpson meme on the back. Explaining what this meme is like explaining a joke. It's just not gonna help you guys at all, just look it up. But either way, I think this is one of the best sneakers to release all year. I'm super excited about it. Again, I tried to get a pair early, but unfortunately all the pairs that I found online sort of disappeared into the bushes. So no early videos for you guys on this pair of shoes, but I think it's an incredibly clean look. It's obviously, other than the heel tab, a standard Stan Smith. It does, however, have a pretty cool box that shares the same theming, but either way, sneaker I'm definitely trying to grab. They killed it, man. I'm glad they finally made this shoe. And in terms of whether I think this shoe will sit or sell, I'm definitely giving this shoe a sell because I think a lot of people have been anticipating this shoe for a very long time. Rounding off the 18th is the first release of the brand new Air Jordan 38. Every year, Jordan Brand releases a new numbered performance version of their mainline sneakers, and this year we are getting the Air Jordan 38. Over the last couple years though, Jordan Brand has been creating each one of these new versions of the shoe to be somewhat inspired by one of the previous Air Jordan retros. So for example, the Air Jordan 31 was inspired by the Air Jordan 1, 32 inspired by the 2, and so on. However, looking at the Air Jordan 38, unlike some of the previous iterations of the shoe, the inspiration or the ties between the Air Jordan 38 and the Air Jordan 8 are not as visible. I'm sure that inspiration is there, I'm just not really seeing it from these images. Maybe I'm missing it. I haven't looked through all the images, so maybe there's like a chenille Air Jordan tag on the tongue or something like that that I just didn't see. You know what, as I said that, there's actually this giant circular Jumpman logo on the tongue, so there it is. That's literally exactly... I completely missed that. I don't know how I missed that. Not only that, but usually Jordan Brand and Nike make their first colorways of new signature basketball sneaker models a little bit more limited, and because of that and because of the hype behind the model, those first colorways do end up selling out. So for that reason, I am going to give this shoe a sell, but I do think it's possible that it could sit around depending on how excited people are about this shoe. Releasing on April 19th, we've got the Adidas Yeezy 700 MNVN Geode. It's actually been a while since we got a pair of MNVNs. I don't really miss them that much because I didn't think they were that great of a sneaker, but they're back, at least for now, because obviously this is the final release of Adidas Yeezys, and this time around we're getting this sort of light pink or lilac, or I guess Geode, pair of Adidas 700 MNVNs. This shoe is essentially exactly the same as all the other MNVNs. It features that sort of nylon upper accented by the reflective 700 text on the side of the shoe, and of course the 700 midsole. I don't know, I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on this shoe in the comment section down below, whether you're planning to grab a pair or not planning to grab a pair. Unlike previous Yeezy releases where Adidas kind of pulled stock from stores that they didn't sell out, with this release, because Adidas is trying to get rid of everything, I wouldn't be surprised if this shoe ended up sitting around, so for that reason, I'm giving this shoe a sit. Then dropping on August 20th, we've got another Yeezy release. This time around, it's the Yeezy 350 V2 in the bone colorway. So I actually did an unboxing video where I unboxed a lot of the upcoming Yeezy sneakers. In fact, I even reviewed some of the upcoming Yeezy sneakers. So if you guys want to check out that video, there will be a link at the top of the screen. And the reason I bring that up is because this is one of the shoes that I unboxed. Now, most likely, you've probably already seen this pair in the wild before because this shoe has already released. This is a re-release of the same shoe, except this pair was manufactured in 2022, so it's technically a newer version of this colorway, but it's still the same exact colorway. It's an all-white prime knit Adidas Yeezy 350 V2 with that semi-translucent stripe on the side, which shows off Apothecary socks very well, which, by the way, if you haven't grabbed a new pair of the Apothecary no-show socks, they're available on our website right now through the link in the description below. Super comfortable, super wearable, they never come off your feet, even if you're wearing the shoes all day. A lot of no-show socks kind of just slowly make their way down your heel as you wear them. These ones don't. They're awesome. Definitely recommend checking them out. But either way, it's a pair of Yeezys that a lot of people will like, especially because white Yeezys always do well, but it's nothing that new or that exciting. But again, because it's a white pair of Yeezys, it will probably end up selling out. So for that reason, I'm giving this shoe a sell. Moving on to August 21st, we've got yet another Yeezy release. Actually, we've got multiple Yeezy releases on the 21st, but the first release is the Yeezy Slide in Slate Gray. So Adidas and Yeezy are releasing like 3 different pairs of gray slides within like 5 days of each other in August, which is crazy to me, but obviously they were supposed to release over a more spread out period, but things happened, so things didn't work out. But because of that, we're getting 3 different gray Yeezys very close to each other, which actually might not be a bad thing, because a lot of times when you enter a Yeezy raffle, you lose. And this one gives you 3 chances to grab 3 different pairs of gray Yeezy slides. Now this dark slate colorway is a dark gray Yeezy slide. It's very similar to the Granite Yeezy slides and also to the Slate Marine Yeezy slides, which just recently released. I mean, it's a good looking shoe. I love the Yeezy slides. It's probably my favorite pair of slides I've ever owned, so I have a couple pairs of them just because they're awesome. So honestly, I'm gonna be going for this pair of slides even though I already have the Slate Marine colorway. But because the Yeezy slides are so popular, even though we're getting 3 colorways that are almost identical to one another, I still see this colorway selling out because the hype is just that real on the Yeezy slide. Also dropping on the 21st is the Yeezy Boost 350 V2 Static. So this colorway originally released, I believe, at the end of 2017, and was also the first Yeezy 350 V2 to feature that semi-translucent stripe on the side. Honestly, it's a pretty clean colorway, and it's always been one of my favorite Yeezy Boost 350 V2s. Maybe because I had it, maybe because I got lucky on the I was gonna call it the sneakers app, but the Adidas Confirmed app. I mean, I don't really ever win on the sneakers app or the Confirmed app, so they both suck. It was a very clean and very wearable colorway, and I'm actually happy that Adidas is bringing this shoe back. Will I buy a pair? I'm not 100% sure. I don't think I really need it. I haven't worn 350s in a while, but I do think it's going to be a popular colorway, and for that reason, I'm giving this shoe a sell. Moving on to August 23rd, we've got the Nike Air Max 1 Bronze. Now I should really quickly say that this shoe I believe is releasing on the Sneakers app on the 23rd, but it's also releasing in stores I think on the 18th. So there are technically two different release days for this shoe. The larger one will definitely be the Sneakers app, so if you're going for a pair of these, if you can't get them in store, go for them on the Sneakers app. That being said, it is just kind of a standard Air Max 1. It is clean, but it's a standard Air Max 1. It features a white upper accented by bronze hits, and of course a standard Air Max 1 midsole. Very clean look, very wearable, but do I think it'll sell out? Probably not. Also releasing on the 23rd is the AJKO 1 Low Bread. Now a lot of you guys know what I'm going to say here, and that's that the Bread Jordan 1 is my favorite sneaker of all time. However, the AJKO 1 Low is not really an Air Jordan 1. I mean, in a way it is. It's sort of a variant of the Air Jordan 1, but it's not exactly the same. I'm honestly not too excited about this shoe. I just don't think it looks that good. And I know it's me being a Jordan snob. I get that. An OG colorway snob. I totally understand. But it's just not the same thing. So this shoe comes in a black and red canvas upper, which is the standard material used on AJKO 1s. Unfortunately, the color blocking is not exactly the same as a standard pair of Air Jordan 1s. The heel area comes in black instead of red, which does kind of turn me off. Again, it's probably because I'm a snob, but either way, it's not for me. And I mean, honestly, because it is the bread colorway, I do think that there is some chance of this shoe selling out. Maybe not immediately, but over a day or two, just because AJKO 1 Lows usually end up sitting, but in colorways that are very close to the OG colorways, people get kind of excited. So because of that, I'm gonna give this shoe a sell, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it sits around for a couple days. And then finally, rounding off the 23rd with one of the most highly anticipated sneaker releases of the year, we've got the Nike Kobe 8 Protro Halo. So this is not only the first Kobe 8 Protro to release, but it's also the first Kobe 8 that we've had released in a long time. This Halo colorway comes in a fitting all-white look featuring Kobe's logos on the heel and on the tongue of the sneaker, and is the first of the brand new line of Kobe sneakers to be releasing through Nike this year. One of the biggest changes between this Protro Kobe 8 and the standard Kobe 8 is that this shoe will feature a full-length React drop-in midsole, which apparently is going to be much more comfortable than the original Kobe 8 and might also help you perform better on court. However, until people actually get pairs in hand and are able to play basketball on these, we won't know for sure, but I'm expecting it to be a better basketball sneaker than the Kobe 8, which is hard to do. Now, of course, the hype for Kobe sneakers right now is insanely high for a lot of different reasons, some of which are not so great, but it means that if you want a pair of Kobe's, you're gonna have a pretty rough time grabbing them for retail, not helped by the fact that Nike releases like 5 of them whenever they drop them, which is kind of a bummer. Not really a great look, to be honest, but they're doing what they're doing and we just kind of have to deal with it. So when this shoe officially releases, it will probably be incredibly difficult to get, and so for that reason, I'm giving this shoe a sell. Moving on to August 24th, we're getting the Nike Dunk Low Midnight Navy White. So I'm pretty sure this is a pair of Nike Dunk Lows that we just got a couple months back. However, it only released in women's sizing, and now they're releasing it in men's size. Which begs the question, why didn't they just drop all the sizes at once? I don't get it. I don't like when Nike decides to release women's only exclusives and then they release extended sizings, but only up to like a size 11. Just give us all sizes all the time. Maybe that's crazy, maybe that's too expensive, I don't know, but for sneakers like this, that are this clean, you should have known from the get-go. If you had made them in all sizes, they would have sold. So this shoe features a white leather upper accented by midnight navy overlays and an aged cream-colored midsole. It is incredibly clean. It's a shoe that I was very jealous of when it released initially as a women's only colorway, and now that we're getting it in a men's colorway, I almost want to not buy it out of spite. I'm still probably gonna buy it, but still, I'm angry about it. Now, over the last couple months, unlike previous years, not all dunk colorways have been selling out. However, this colorway is so clean and was so popular when it first released, I'm sure the hype is still gonna be there for this shoe, and so for that reason, I'm giving the Nike Dunk Low Midnight Navy and White in men's sizing a sell. Also releasing on the same day is yet another blue sneaker. This time around, it's the Nike Terminator Low in dark obsidian and granite. So this colorway of the Terminator Low pulls inspiration from the Be True to Your School pack, specifically the Georgetown colorways. However, from what I can tell, Nike does not specifically state that in their marketing material because they may or may not be able to. That being said, it's an incredibly clean gray and blue colorway. I've never actually owned a pair of Terminator Lows, so I might have to grab a pair just to try them out, see if they're any good. But it's a classic shoe, well, at least a classic version of a shoe, or a version of a classic shoe. And it's super clean in this colorway. But do I think this shoe will sell out? Probably not, so I'm giving this shoe a sit. On the following day, we've got the Nike Air Max 2 Charles Barkley 94 in black and purple. This 90s shoe looks like it came directly out of a 90s cartoon. It's a wild looking sneaker, and it's got a lot of history. If you're a Charles Barkley fan, you're probably really gonna be into this, or if you just like the Air Max 2. This classic is retroing in a black and white makeup accented by purple hits, and is definitely a shoe that a lot of sneakerheads are gonna be excited about. However, although this shoe is a classic, I don't think the design of this sneaker holds up as well in the 2020s as it did back in the 90s, and I know there are a lot of people out there who will disagree with me on that, but for right now, I just don't see this shoe selling out, so I'm giving this shoe a sit. Also releasing on the 25th is the Air Jordan 1 Low Atmosphere Gray. So this shoe is made up of a white leather upper accented by sort of pinkish grayish suede hits. It also features sort of an off-white colored aged midsole, which I do think ties the look together nicely. Recently, it seems like Air Jordan 1 Lows are more popular than Air Jordan 1 Highs. In fact, most versions of OG Air Jordan 1 Lows have been selling out over their high top counterparts. And honestly, this colorway is really clean. It's super wearable. The materials look alright. It's a shoe that I would consider grabbing if I could pick it up at a Nike outlet, which probably is not too far out of the realm of possibility. I do think that this shoe will be popular, but I don't think this shoe will sell out just because Jordan hype is not the same as it was a couple months or even a couple years ago. So for that reason, I'm giving the Air Jordan 1 Low Atmosphere Gray, although it is a very clean colorway, a sit. Also dropping on the 25th is the brand new Apothecary Wavy collection that comes with 4 pairs of socks and a t-shirt. So I designed this collection like 6 to 8 months ago. It was a collection that I really liked at the time that I designed it, and then I completely forgot about it, and then it came into the warehouse a couple months ago and I was like, yo, this is fire, and I'm so excited that we're finally releasing it. I love this shirt. I think it's one of my favorite shirts that we've ever dropped, especially with that cool little smiley face detail. You've also got the smiley face embroidered onto the sock, which I thought was super cool. It was one of those things that I talked to Osman about, and I was like, yo, can we do that? And he's like, I'm pretty sure we can. So we ended up doing it, and it's super clean and it came out really well. I love all the colors that we're dropping. Again, I'm biased because I did design the collection, but I really like it a lot. And if you guys want to check it out, it will be available on apothecary.com on August 25th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Then rounding off the 25th, we've got the Nike SB Dunk Low Orange Emerald Rise. So I actually thought this was a collaboration at first, but it turns out it's just a standard Nike SB Dunk Low, which we haven't gotten in a while. The shoe comes in an orange and emerald suede upper accented by a sort of jade colored Nike swoosh, and the entire look is rounded off by a cream midsole. And I actually really like it. It's a very clean look. It's probably a great skateboarding shoe, especially because it should be easier to get than some of the collab SBs. And the colorway, while a bit brighter than I think some people might like, it's still very wearable and it's obviously 90s inspired. It does kind of look a lot like the LeBron Fruity Pebbles and the Homer Simpsons though. It really is nice to see Nike experiment with some wilder colorways on their standard Nike SB Dunk Lows. I think it's going to be a hit. I think a lot of people are going to be into it, and I definitely think this shoe will end up selling out. Moving on to August 26th, we've got the women's Air Jordan 4 Frozen Moments. So this women's exclusive Air Jordan 4 features this interesting sort of gray to white gradient along the side of the shoe that is made up of a bunch of different materials. So on the bottom of the upper, the shoe starts with sort of a medium gray leather panel accented by a lighter gray suede just above that, and then just above that, you've got this white leather rounding off the top of the shoe. It's an interesting look and one that is not very common on Air Jordan 4s. It also features a metallic silver wing that holds the laces in place, which I don't know if I love because I think that will kind of scrape off over time, but it's a clean look nonetheless. If they had done things a little bit differently and maybe released it in just every size, I think it would have been incredibly popular. As it is though, and because it's an Air Jordan 4, I do think it's going to be very popular because Air Jordan 4s seem to be the most popular Jordan model at the moment. It's also kind of weird to me that they're not really releasing Jordan 4s because I guess they're trying to maintain the hype on the silhouette. That's what it seems like, at least. So because this silhouette is very hyped up, I think even though the shoe is a women's exclusive colorway, and because the colorway is pretty clean, this shoe will end up selling out. Also releasing on the 26th, we've got the women's Air Jordan 1 Elevate High Beffy's Beauty Supply Union LA. So this is one of the 2 shoes releasing as part of the Beffy's Beauty Supply Union LA Jordan brand collaboration. And apparently the inspiration behind this collaboration's design is the summer of '96, which is a summer where Chris Gibbs and Beth met. Chris and Beth are married and they're also the founders of Union LA, so it's a really cool sort of triple collaboration between not only Chris and Beth's brand Union LA, but also Beth's brand Beffy's Beauty Supply and of course Jordan brand. So out of the 2 sneakers dropping from this collaboration, the Elevate 1 High is definitely going to be the least popular. First of all, it's a women's only release. Second of all, it's a silhouette that I don't think that many people love. It's got this super chunky midsole that I think just makes the sneaker look too much like a platform shoe, which is probably what they're going for with the design of this shoe, but it is what it is. There is one detail though on this shoe which the other shoe from this collaboration does not have, and I think people actually prefer it, and that's the dark green Nike swoosh. It's not a huge difference, but it does provide some really nice contrast on the upper of the shoe, and I wouldn't have minded if the standard Union LA Beffy's Beauty Supply Air Jordan 1s also featured a green Nike swoosh. Now this is where things get tough because I'm having a really hard time trying to figure out whether this shoe will sit or sell. Obviously this collaboration is already pretty polarizing, but to put this design on a pair of Elevate 1 Highs, I just don't think the hype is going to be there for this particular shoe, so for that reason, I'm giving this one a sit. And then rounding off the 26th, we've got the second shoe from the collaboration, the Beffy's Beauty Supply Unit LA Air Jordan 1 High. Now, I actually have already done a full review on this sneaker a couple months back, so if you guys want to check that out, there will be a link at the top of the screen. And even though this time around the collaboration does take place on a pair of Air Jordan 1 Highs, it's still pretty polarizing. People just either love or hate that woven footscape detail on the side of the shoe that sort of splits the design in half. And it's a shame too, because the colorway is very clean. You've got this really nice all-white look, accented by these bright yellow hits on the edges of the leather. It's super cool, super unique. But of course, you've also got that woven footscape detail, which some people hate. Now, initially, I didn't love that detail. I felt like it was a little bit too much. But after having the shoes for a while and giving you guys a full review, I realized that this is the first time in a while that I've seen a pair of Air Jordan 1s where there's actually something really different about them. And that really started to change my mind about the sneaker. And then, of course, seeing them on foot, I was kind of sold. So while I don't have a pair right now, I am going to try and get another pair for retail in my size this time, and hopefully rock them on a regular basis. And as to whether I think the shoe is going to sit on shelves or sell, I actually think this collaboration is still going to be very popular, even though some people seem to hate it, and so for that reason, I'm giving this shoe a sell. Moving on to August 28th, we've got the Adidas Yeezy Slide in Granite. This is another one of those gray Yeezy slides. Like I said, we've got 3 of them this month, and again, I'm not mad about it because you can never have enough Yeezy slides. From what I can tell, this is the darkest of the 3 Yeezy slides that are dropping this month. It's, I guess, the closest to the Onyx colorway, but it's still a very dark gray. To be fair though, it's not going to be easy to grab any of these Yeezy slides on the Adidas Confirmed app, so they're almost giving you 3 chances. And with that being said, I definitely think that the Yeezy slides in Granite will end up selling out. And then finishing off the 28th, we've got the Adidas Yeezy 350 V2 MX Dark Salt. So this is another colorway of the MX or mixed pairs of 350 V2s. It features this really interesting marbled upper made up of different tones of gray. And while I appreciate that they're trying something a little bit different with this prime knit upper, I still feel like it's a little bit too busy. I don't mind that the colorway is more neutral, and I do think that helps the overall look of the shoe because it kind of tones down all the busyness, but that MX pattern is just a bit too much on the 350 V2, at least in my opinion. And when you add that stripe on the side, it just becomes a lot. Now, I'm not sure when you're watching this video, but there's a good chance that by the time you're watching this video, my review of the MX Dark Salts has already dropped. So if you guys want to check that out, there will be a link at the top of the screen. However, if you're one of the awesome few who watch my videos early, you can actually get an early look at this sneaker, the MX Dark Salts, on my TikTok at @RealSethFowler. My goal is to hit 100K by the end of August. I don't know if I can do it. Seems like a pretty lofty goal, but I'm going to try. So if you guys can help me out with that, that would be awesome. It's linked in the top of the description below if you guys want to check it out. Moving on to August 29th, we've got the Air Jordan 5 Burgundy. So this colorway of the Air Jordan 5 initially released back in 2006 and was one of the more out there colorways of the silhouette. Nowadays it seems overly simple because it's all one color and it's all one shade of burgundy, but back then it was a pretty big deal. As you can see from these images, the entire upper of this shoe is covered in this dark burgundy suede accented by a reflective tongue and of course semi-translucent outsole. It's definitely a clean look, and I understand that there's a lot of people out there with nostalgia for this release, but that's not me, and it's not really a shoe that I feel like I need to grab. And not only that, the Jordan 5 is just not that popular right now. I think it will be again in the future, but as of right now, it's not about the Jordan 5, it's all about the Jordan 4, so because of that, I am giving this shoe a sit. Also dropping on the 29th, we've got the Nike SB Dunk Low Yuto Wolf Gray. Yuto is actually a professional Japanese skateboarder, and if you didn't know that, don't be embarrassed, I didn't know that either. I had to Google before I did this. However, he is an incredible skateboarder. I've checked out some of his clips. He's amazing. Again, not that I know much about skateboarding, but I do really appreciate the craft when it's done really well. And because of his skills and abilities, he's actually gotten his own Nike SB Dunk Low, aptly named the Nike SB Dunk Low Yuto. This shoe comes in a white leather upper accented by medium gray suede. You've got some pink hits, you've got some brown hits, and you've also got Yuto's family crest. But my favorite part of the shoe, and I know this is dumb because it's such a small detail, but is the olive Nike swoosh. I don't know why I like it so much, but I just dig it, and I think it's such a clean look. Now, while this design is simple, it is a Nike SB Dunk Low, which means that there will be a lot of hype for this shoe, and it probably will only release at skate stores. I want to guess, of course, the Sneakers app, which is actually where I'm getting my information for this shoe, so of course it's dropping on the Sneakers app. And because this shoe is an SB, I definitely think that this sneaker will end up selling out. Next up, on August 30th, we've got the women's Air Max 1 soft vinyl. So apparently the inspiration behind this shoe is classic action figures, which you can definitely tell when you look at the metallic Nike swoosh, when you look at the clear overlays. It's a very clean and very interesting look. And I also especially love the insole of the sneaker with the Japanese text. I think that's super clean. The entire shoe is just such an interesting package and just is such a cool twist on the classic Air Max 1. This is just another example of a shoe that's just so awesome and is only released in women's sizing. And I'm sure there have been women out there for years who have had sneakers that they wanted that they couldn't get because they're only in men's sizes. and now I completely get it. I understand it. It's a bummer, but hey, it is what it is. It's a great looking sneaker. I don't know if there's gonna be that much hype behind it because I literally didn't know about this sneaker until I saw it in the sneakers app. I am kind of thinking that there is a pretty good chance that this shoe will sell out because it's a special sneaker. It might be a special edition or a limited edition. There probably isn't a lot of pairs of these, and it's probably only sold at specific retailers. So for that reason, I am gonna give this shoe a sell. However, I also wouldn't be surprised if this shoe ended up sitting in certain sizes. After that, we've got the Nike Dunk Low Orwood Brown. The upper of the shoe comes in all one color, accented by some tumbled leather overlays, and of course the midsole and outsole of the sneaker comes in an off-white or light tan color. And overall, it's a clean look, it's simple, but I don't think it's going to be that popular, and so for that reason, because we've seen it happen to a bunch of other Nike Dunk Lows, I do think that this shoe might end up sitting on shelves. And then finally finishing off the 30th, we've got a shoe that I'm pretty sure I already talked about in the last episode, but I guess it got pushed back, and that is the Nike KD3 Easy Money. At the end of the month, we're getting the classic Nike KD3 with the Easy Money colorway, which of course is money themed, but also ties into Kevin Durant's nickname, Easy Money Sniper. The shoe comes in an off-white colored tumbled leather accented by gray hits and blue hits, and hidden throughout the sneaker, you've got these little money details, which actually make the sneaker really cool. My personal favorite detail, besides the 100s on the Nike swoosh, is the money printed on the insole of the shoe that features Kevin Durant's head, which is super cool. Dude, I'm so happy that Nike's bringing back these classic basketball sneakers. I didn't know if it was ever gonna happen. Obviously, we had it happen to LeBron and to Kobe, but it's nice to see it come back for Kevin Durant because he definitely has some really great older signature sneakers. And because this is one of the first Kevin Durant signatures to get retroed, I do think that this shoe will end up selling out. Next up, on August 31st, we've got Drake's Nike Nocta Glide. So if you didn't know, Nocta is a sub-brand of Nike created by Drake, and he's now releasing his own signature sneakers like the Nocta Glide. So this shoe is heavily inspired by 90s basketball sneakers like the Zoom Flight 95, and you can definitely tell that from the giant circles on the midsole of the sneaker, which I'm assuming is sort of a plastic or foam material. It's definitely an interesting looking shoe, and not one that I'm particularly excited for, but one that I am kind of interested in checking out just out of pure curiosity. Now with this shoe, I'm kind of torn because as you might have seen in my previous Nike Outlet vlog, which is linked at the top of the screen if you missed it, it's an awesome vlog. We find so much crazy stuff. We actually found a pair of Nike Noctas in the outlet, which I didn't expect. Actually, not just a pair, but a full size run of one colorway. So pairs of Noctas aren't always selling out. And I think that it is possible that this colorway and this style of sneaker might not hit the way the previous Nike Nocta sneakers have. So because of that, I am gonna give this shoe a sit, but at the same time, it's also the first colorway of a new silhouette, so I don't really know. It's tough. No, I'm still gonna give this shoe a sit. I think it might sell out in some sizes, but not all sizes, and because of that, I'm gonna stick with sit. Make sure to check out my TikTok at @RealSethFowler, linked in the top of the description below. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed, and I will see you all in the next one.